Things aren't looking too hot for Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling. Let's get into why.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? Killjoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking about Don't Worry Darling, a movie I haven't been super vocal on, but it recently made headlines yesterday with some crazy news about some of the behind-the-scenes drama happening with this film. I personally think that spells disaster, and we're going to talk about why here in just a second, but first, I'm going to need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, drama videos are not really my forte, so take it easy on me with this one. Now, if you have no idea what the heck Don't Worry Darling is, no worries, we're going to go over a little bit of a plot synopsis here for you. In the film, Alice, played by Florence Pugh, and Jack Chambers, played by Harry Styles, are lucky to be living in Victory, the experimental company town housing the men who work for the top-secret Victory project and their families. Life is perfect with every resident's needs met by the company. All they ask in return is unquestioning commitment to the Victory cause. But when cracks in her idyllic life begin to appear, exposing flashes of something much more sinister lurking beneath the attractive facade, Alice can't help questioning what they're doing in Victory, and why. Just how much is Alice willing to lose to expose what's really going on in paradise? Seems like a pretty ominous description for a movie. It is quite intriguing, I gotta say, just based off of that. But there's a lot more things that are not so exciting about the film, although I will say it is going to IMAX on September 19th, a few days early before its release, so that's pretty cool. But wow, some of the behind-the-scenes drama is not. So unfortunately, to talk about this, we gotta go all the way back to 2020, a year that nobody wants to talk about anymore, but let's just do it. Humor me for like 2 seconds here. All the way back to 2020, which feels like decades ago now, let me tell you, it feels like we've just always been living in a pandemic. Olivia Wilde, the director of this upcoming film, hires actor Shia LaBeouf to play the role of Jack. And keep in mind, Florence Pugh was already signed on to play Alice. So Olivia Wilde already knew that some sex scenes would be happening with both of these actors in the same room together, you know, pretending to do things. Fellatio, I guess, is confirmed to be one of those things. Fun. Later on, Wilde does an interview with Variety calling Shia combative and that his process was not conducive to the ethos that she demanded on her productions. Without knowing too much about that, I have heard that Shia LaBeouf is a little too intense when it comes to method acting. I mean, it's probably not as bad as like what Jared Leto did when he sent like dead animals to his co-stars during Suicide Squad, and then the movie comes out and it's dog shit. How fucking funny is that? But Wilde also claims she fired LaBeouf not only for the previously stated reasons, but also because his ex was filing a lawsuit against Shia for sexual, emotional, and psychological abuse. To paraphrase the other things that Olivia Wilde said here, she essentially wanted Florence Pugh to feel safe in this role. She didn't want her lead actress to be in a sex scene with someone who is, well, being sued for sexual assaults. That would just be awful. And doesn't that all sound great? Like, it's like, hey, awesome, Olivia Wilde must be a great director. Right? Oh, but that's where the twist comes in, my dudes. Shia responds to this Variety interview by saying he was not fired and that he quit due to a lack of rehearsal time. Wilde is also revealed to say some hypocritical things about Florence Pugh in a video sent to LaBeouf. To quote the video, Olivia Wilde says, "You know, I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think? Is there hope? Will you let me know?" Now, this is weird for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's hypocritical because she's basically saying that Florence Pugh is the problem here when she is very clearly not. You really shouldn't be dissing the May Queen like that. I mean, did you see what happened to her boyfriend in Midsommar? But then she's also like begging Shia LaBeouf to be in this movie. It's almost like she cares more about him than she does Florence Pugh, who is like totally down to do this, has been signed on since 2020. What the fuck? And then referring to Florence Pugh in the derogatory way of saying Miss Flo, it's just like, what the fuck? Fuck off. There has been some indirect backlash from Miss Flo too as well over on Instagram. Her stylist even posted a picture, like a bunch of pictures of her, captioning the picture Miss Flo. And when Olivia Wilde was hyping up this film, saying that the sex scenes are like next level and all this shit, Florence Pugh responds to that basically saying the opposite, saying that this movie is so much more than just the sex scenes. And then that takes us to yesterday during the press tour where the film was premiered in Venice? Venus? How the fuck do you pronounce that? I don't know. I'm some weirdo from Ohio. I wouldn't know. A plethora plethora of weird things were displayed here at this press meeting, with Chris Pine just astral projecting, not wanting to be there whatsoever. He looks like a child whose mother just forced him to sit with him at the DMV for an hour. Like, he just looks so unbelievably bored. There's this video of Harry Styles apparently spitting on Chris Pine. I don't think he spits. Like, you can't actually see any visible spit coming down, but it's almost like Chris Pine thought he spit on him and wasn't too surprised by that. And that to me says everything I need to know about this cast. But hey, don't worry, there is a little gleam of light here because we do have this nice little interaction between the absolutely wonderful Nick Kroll and Harry Styles where they kissed each other on the lips mid-premiere. Hey, at least there's something positive here, right? I mean, come on, that's something. A lot of the early reviews for Don't Worry Darling are also super negative, with the film only clocking in at 43% over on Rotten Tomatoes. So usually I'm not one to talk about drama, but I felt the need to cover this just because of how like big this thing is getting, how out of proportion things are getting with this movie. I kind of had to talk about it a little bit. And also, I was super excited for this movie. I mean, the cast list is phenomenal. I love Florence Pugh, I love Chris Pine, and I really love Nick Kroll. I think he's super incredibly underrated, and it's so cool to see him in like kind of a thriller flick like this. Initially, I wasn't down to trust the critics, but after learning about all the drama behind this movie, I'm starting to think, yeah, it's probably gonna suck. Am I still going to see this though? Because I will absolutely see everything that Florence Pugh is in. Yeah, of course I'm gonna check it out, but I just don't think it's gonna be good after some of these early reviews and some of the behind the scenes drama that we've learned about recently. There are many negative things I could point out from some Olivia Wilde quotes that make me just not like her as a director or as a human being at all, but this one in particular is fucking hilarious, so I'm gonna share it with you guys. Talking about her mysterious relationship with Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde says, "I'm not going to say anything about it because I've never seen a relationship benefit from being dragged into the public arena. We both go out of our way to protect our relationship. I think it's out of experience, but also just out of deep love." Like, that quote to me is laughable. That's kind of like saying, well, you know, I don't really like to talk about how good I am at baking, but my cookies are fucking out of this world. Like, she clearly wanted to talk about the relationship and make it public and make a big stink out of it, but she presents it like she doesn't. What the fuck? I don't know, man. Everything I'm reading about her seems like she's very hypocritical and she doesn't really like to work with her actors on stuff. Like, maybe she has a vision and it has to be that specific way. I don't know. In my opinion, I know some people like when they hear that about a director, but that is a massive negative for me. If you're not willing to work with your actors and develop characters into something better than what you had imagined in the first place, it's not going to grow. It's just going to stay right at that level and you're never going to go any higher from there. Those are just my tentative thoughts on all of these crazy things going on behind the scenes with this movie. Like I said, I'm still gonna check it out, but I really don't have the highest expectations for the film. What do you guys think about Don't Worry Darling so far though? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this brand new video on Don't Worry Darling. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future and less drama videos. If you want to support this channel even further, you can become a Patreon supporter or a channel member by clicking that join button on my page. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.